Hi, I'm Amy Slabaugh, a registered dietitian nutritionist, and today I want to talk about sourdough bread. There's been some buzz around sourdough lately with the idea that it's better than or healthier than regular bread. So let's take a look at what might or might not make this true. And first off, I want to just mention that I don't really like to label food healthy or not healthy because one individual food is such a small part of the whole story of health. We need more information, how much of that food is being eaten and how often and what other foods are being eaten too. So there's my little soapbox about labeling foods as healthy, but now on to sourdough. So there are some instances when sourdough bread can be a better choice. So one example of this is that sourdough usually has fewer ingredients, which means it can have fewer of the emulsifiers that are common in a regular loaf of grocery store bread. And we're learning that these emulsifiers aren't great for our gut microbiome. So to use sourdough bread to avoid these emulsifiers, double check your label and look for sourdough with just flour, water, salt, and sourdough starter. Next up, sourdough bread can be a better choice for some, but not all, when it comes to gut issues. For those who find that bread upsets their stomachs, sourdough can often be better tolerated than regular bread. The fermentation process that happens with making sourdough breaks down the carbohydrates from the wheat enough that they aren't as irritating to those who are sensitive to those kind of carbohydrates, which are called fructans. And being sensitive to the carbohydrates in wheat is different than not tolerating the gluten in wheat. Those with celiac disease or a gluten intolerance wouldn't find sourdough any easier on their digestive tract than regular bread. And finally, sourdough bread isn't usually a better choice if you're looking for whole grains. A lot of sourdough bread is made with refined white wheat flour, just like most regular grocery store bread. But that is okay, because yes, whole grains are great for us, but if you're not getting them in your sourdough bread, you can just be sure to get them elsewhere. And oats, buckwheat, brown rice, corn, quinoa, there's a long list. The goal is to make half of the grains you eat each day whole grains. So depending on what you're looking for, sourdough might be a good choice. If you've never had it, it could be worth a try, but it's also not a requirement of healthy eating if you don't prefer it. Check back next week for more helpful nutrition tips.